Solar PV Cast by Shift, a podcast exploring solar energy and the role it plays in improving our lives and our planet. Here's your host, Chris Palliser.
Yes, it is another episode of the Solar PV Cast, and it's brought to you by Shift for all your solar and energy storage needs. Make sure you visit shift.ca. Now, in this episode, it's kind of a revisit, actually. It's on the Greener Homes program. And we had a guest on the Solar PV Cast a few months ago to talk about the Greener Homes program. And I thought it would be great to bring this person back to discuss some of the myths, a bit of a myth-busting episode, and maybe some updates to the Greener Homes program, because just like anything, there is always slight adjustments. And also, just like anything, when it's been out for a while, it's kind of like the game telephone. Things start to change, and just doing a lot of social listening, been seeing a lot of these myths come up. So joining today's episode is Daniel Giam, owner and energy advisor at Gets Energy. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks, Chris. Great to be here, be back here again, and to see and talk to you and be on the podcast.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining again. And Greener Homes program, for those just tuning in, maybe just hearing about it for the first time, can you quickly describe the Greener Homes program for us?
For sure. So the Greener Homes program was released a few years ago now. It provides $5,000 towards energy efficient retrofits, one of those being solar, of course. The Greener Homes program is available to any homeowners that own their home and live in their home. And more recently, they released the Greener Homes Loan Program, which it coupled with the Greener Homes Grant Program, provides up to $40,000 of interest-free loans to pay for those retrofits as well. So still going strong. Both of those programs are still in play.
And what's the uptake been like? I mean, it's been a year now since that loan's on top of it. Is business going crazy like it is in solar?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, business is booming. Solar, heat pumps, all of the retrofits to make your home more energy efficient are covered in both of these programs. And along with that, especially with the warmer weather, really increases the uptake in the program. So it's been great.
It should be noted as well. Obviously, we're talking about it from a solar angle, but yeah, it's essentially insulation, windows, and these are all things that you guys would suggest, correct?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, everything from the solar system arrays to heating and cooling, windows, insulation, and really it covers most things that contribute to the energy efficiency of your home. That Canada is really just trying to increase the energy efficiency of the overall home supply.
Great. Let's start. I mean, actually, I'll just start on the solar point right now. I've had a few people over the last year say, they don't recommend solar. Now, obviously, maybe if you go into a house that's completely shaded by trees, maybe you wouldn't. But is solar in general, for Gets Energy or in general, when it comes to energy audits, is it recommended?
For sure. Yeah, we recommend solar with most, if not all, of our assessments. That's really because it's a really great option for offsetting your energy usage, whereas all of these other retrofits are a way to improve the efficiency of what you have, but there aren't really a lot of options to directly offset the amount of energy that you're using. And it's what we're finding is that it's a great way to for those that are looking to get to net zero ahead of some of the government guidelines and things like that. That solar is the easiest and the best way to do that.
What would you say to somebody? Because I did get this message actually online. They said, our energy advisor did not recommend solar to us. What would you say to them? Get a new energy advisor? Or, it just seems weird that didn't happen. But I guess energy advisors, to each their own, right? It is fairly individualized.
Yeah, for sure. So what we try to always do is to individualize all of these reports based on the home and based on what makes the most sense for the home. So, for example, if a home really isn't suited for solar, then we may not include it. However, with that said, what we always try to do is the number one priorities for the homeowner are what they want to do and what makes their home most comfortable as well. So, for example, if an existing report was missing a solar recommendation, it's still certainly no trouble to just touch base with your energy advisor and get them to add that into the report. It's really no trouble and takes very little time. They shouldn't be charged extra for that service, and really the energy advisor is there to service their needs and to also provide a better an updated list of recommendations for them.
So there is options for the homeowners to kind of bring up things. Oh, we've been thinking about doing this, and bringing those concerns to an energy advisor.
Exactly. Yeah. The energy advising process should always be a conversation more than just a direct one way report where I'm coming to your house, looking at your house, and providing a whole list of recommendations. What we always do, and what should be the case, is that you're always talking to the homeowner, seeing what they want, what their list of priorities are, and we're always trying to base our recommendations not just on specifically the home, but the home in conjunction with what they have available, what the low hanging fruit options are, what makes the most sense for them, and what the homeowners want as well.
Brilliant. Let's get right to the big topic. It's been out a year now, the loan program. Rebate's been out a couple years. What are the wait times? Because again, on social media, you'll get somebody say, I'm interested in. Someone will say, don't even waste your time. It's 4 years before you'll hear back from anyone. So what are those wait times with that program right now?
For sure, yeah. We obviously get a lot of questions about wait times, and with our application service, where we help out all of our homeowners with all of these applications, walking them through the process step by step. We definitely get a good idea of what all of the wait times are. Um, the wait times, I would say, from the point of application to the point where you would be accepted, as long as you're providing all of the documentation and everything that they're requiring and request, is what we're seeing right now between 3 to 5 weeks. So we're really not seeing some of the huge wait times. With that said, what does happen oftentimes is, if an application is incomplete or the loans officer requires some additional information from the homeowner, um, if the homeowner misses that email or something kind of goes haywire through the process, that's when it can end up taking a little bit of extra time. But with that said, the loans officers at CMHC have been pretty good, and even though I wouldn't expect a significant lengthen in that time of about 3 to 5 weeks, as long as you're providing the information that they request.
Right, and that makes sense. Just like anything, right?
Mhm.
You can only do so much as an energy advisor when you know somebody's delayed in responding to their emails or things like that. So
Mhm.
it's pretty good. I mean, 3 to 5 weeks, because when it came out, I think in our initial conversation back in October, maybe it was kind of that 2 to 3 months. I think things were.
Certainly, along with them releasing the program, what we found was there was a very large backlog because the program was so popular at first. It's not often that you find an interest-free loan anywhere. So I think what has happened is CMHC and Intellify, who run the program, have beefed up their numbers on their side, and kind of honed in their processes, and things have come down quite a bit into that 3 to 5 week time period at this time.
Now that's so just for somebody who's literally maybe watching this podcast, listening to this podcast, so they call you guys out, they get their energy advisor. That 3 to 5 weeks, is that from that call, or is that when the documentation is submitted?
So that's when the assessment documentation has been submitted. So
Okay.
I can go back a couple steps and just really briefly outline the process.
Yeah.
So the first step in the process would either be to give us a call at Gets Energy, or give Chris and Shift Energy a call to let you know that you're interested in a solar system. The next step would be to have one of our certified energy advisors come out to the house, do an assessment at the house. It takes I would say, between 1 and 2 hours, depending on the complexity of your house.
What's the
It,
wait time to get somebody out to do that? Is
oh,
there a wait time for that?
pretty short. So we try to get everything done within 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
So we should be at your house and have the assessment completed within 2 weeks. So once that assessment is done, we take all of that information that we've collected at your house and put it into our software to create some energy reports. So those energy reports go over two different things. So the first thing that it goes over is the energy efficiency of your house right now. It goes over and describes each of the components in your house. And then the second report goes over each of those components and provides upgrade recommendations for each of those. So, for example, solar would be one of those things that we include on there. And what that is meant to give you is a really brief, but thorough at the same time understanding of how much energy we would expect you to save or offset with each of those component upgrades, as well as gives you a detailed understanding of what some of the key points and takeaways that you should review when considering each of those upgrades. So once that is done, once the reports are provided to you, which again often we always strive to get those reports to you, and at that point is when the loan application button shows up. So that should happen within 2 weeks. And then once the loan application button shows up, you make your application. And then at that point is when that 3 to 5 week window shows up. So it is a little bit of a process to get there. But again, we at Gets Energy, we're there to help you through each step of that process.
Well, and that's a big part of it because, the energy advisor is your guide, right? So it's overwhelming when you're trying to do something that could take 2 months and some paperwork. And so it's definitely valuable to have that insight. What's the demographics that you're seeing? Because I know, speaking from a solar point of view, it was kind of 55 plus homeowners, somebody looking for a great investment, somebody looking to help the environment. But the Greener Homes program, I can only assume, has brought that down. So when you guys are getting these calls for energy advisors, are you seeing it still that older demographic, or is it coming down?
I mean, we certainly still see the older demographic that still fit that previous kind of group that was previously using the program. With the addition of the loan program, we certainly have seen that come down a little bit as well, and make the energy efficient retrofits available to more of the population. The loans, interest-free loans that are paid off over the course of 10 years really make solar much more accessible, and the way that you can offset those monthly payments with a decrease in your energy bills really brings down the cost per month of adding solar to very little. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a 0% loan these days with the way interest rates are going, and I mean, everything, utility rates, everything's going up. So a 0% interest on a way to provide your energy makes so much sense. Another thing that people have asked or said, another myth, if you will, is, well, you can't get the rebate and the loan. You can't stack.
Nope, you
Care to
can.
dispel that?
Yeah, for sure. You can certainly stack, and it actually works out very very well. So I'll work really with round numbers here. So say for example you get a solar system that cost $20,000. That $20,000 solar system, the Greener Homes loan will give you that full $20,000. And then, in addition, because you can certainly stack, you'll also get an additional $5,000 from the Greener Homes grant program. So, in total, for a $20,000 solar system, you will receive $25,000. So, that extra $5,000, you can kind of choose whatever you want to do with. You can put it on the loan, you can invest it, you can go on vacation. Really,
Wow.
sky's the limit.
Yeah. I yeah, in my mind, I was kind of worked to the round numbers of 25. So you take the
Mhm.
5K off and you put the 20 on the loan. But I guess the rebate still applies because that's a over 5 kilowatt system.
Exactly.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. I got to start planning that holiday and get that. I love that. That's great. What about the reimbursement portion? Because when this was unveiled, it was and maybe still is a reimbursement loan. You have to pay for the loan, take that paid invoice, show it to your installer, and then submit all that. Where are we standing on that front?
Yep. So the Greener Homes Grant and the Greener Homes Loan Program, while they're still using the same portal, so to access both of them, we log into the same area on the internet. Um, the Greener Homes Grant requires a paid invoice at the end of the process in order to access it. The Greener Homes Loan Program, you can go through and upfront what they will do once you have approved and applied and been approved for the program, they'll provide you a 15% deposit. So if we're still working with those round numbers, they'll give you 15% of the down of the total cost of the solar system upfront before the system is installed. Once the system is installed, then at that point, we would complete a post assessment, which is basically your energy advisor comes back to your house, confirms all of the system specifications and what was installed, takes a few pictures, and then updates all of those original reports. Once those secondary post assessment reports are finished, we'll send them back to you, upload them to Enercan, and then at that point, that's when we can make the final request for the remaining 85% of the solar invoice. That solar invoice, there will be some time between the time where the system is fully installed and you end up receiving the final funds uh, for the system.
So you're still getting the funds once the system is installed?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, because there was, again, going around was saying that, oh, they're just giving you the money and then you could just use that to pay the installer, but they're still requiring that invoice, eh?
Correct. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a cart before the horse situation from the homeowner's perspective. But the government does want to confirm and verify that
Mm-hmm.
the system was actually installed prior to.
Totally.
What I have seen is that uh, I believe Shift also has some financing options to kind of carry you from that time of the finished installation until you receive the loan. And overall, the costs for doing that are fairly minimal in the neighborhood of just a couple $100 overall cost. And if you do it that way, then you're actually able to apply and receive the grant, the $5,000 grant sooner,
Mm,
because that one requires the paid invoice in order
right.
to get those funds and to access those.
It does make it challenging for installers because what happens is people have this assumption that I'll just pay you when I get the money. And so the installer all of a sudden is left on the hook for 2 months to 3 months. Hey, you got to pay us. Oh yeah. When I'll get the money, when I get the money from the government, then I'll pay you. So it has created some challenges for sure. But I mean, just like anything, you work out the kinks.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's really important both for the energy advisor as well as the homeowner to just make sure that everyone's on the same page. Everyone's So, for example, we would just make sure for all of our clients that as soon as the work is done, that we can come and complete that post assessment as soon as possible, and really that just tries to minimize the amount of time waiting in between things, so we can just get things to the government and Intelify
Hmm.
as quickly as possible to reduce all of those time periods.
Right. So time period wise, I mean, 3 to 5 weeks when the application is submitted, from that initial call, 2 to 3 months still, but that's everything. And then at that point, it just comes down to your installer. And And like you said, it's so vital to chat with maybe your solar consultant, your energy advisor, so that you can, as soon as you know your install date, you can plan this, and plan this, and then just have it all tied up.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's great when it really works well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the number of cases that kind of go off the beaten path and extend those time limits have really come down over the last year. So while the time period is still fairly long, I would say with 2 months to make the to get the system installed. Um, Really, we're not seeing many of the cases go past that long time period.
Yeah, so definitely an improvement from when it started.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
One myth that was brought to my attention this morning, actually, when I logged in and checked some social channels, and somebody commented and said, um, "Be careful. Some installers want the grant directly." Essentially saying that this person would never see the grant. The installer wants them to pay it to them, and I know that's not true. So if you could just address that, nobody else is getting your grant; it's going to the homeowner.
Yeah, for sure. So everything for both the grant and the loan, all are in and need to be in the homeowner's name. So the first thing, for example, when you log in and create an account on the Greener Homes application, um, the government verifies your identification with a copy of your driver's license, and that's what's really used for your account and to verify that they, the homeowner, are living at the home. The checks, for example, for the Greener Homes grant, all of the Greener Homes grants are issued by check. Those will all go to the homeowner's address. So you're not going to be forwarding that somewhere else to someone else. The homeowner is always going to be getting the grant. And with respect to the loan program is either done through direct deposit to the homeowner's bank account, or by check also to the homeowner's address. So the installer will never request that the Greener Homes grant funds go directly to them. They'll always go to the homeowner themselves.
I have heard of some essentially taking the 5,000 off the bill and saying, "Hey, when you get that check, send it our way." So perhaps that's where that comment came from, in the confusion of, well, they're just taking it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could see some installers potentially doing something like that, so that the homeowner doesn't have to pay that money up front, and certainly something like that makes sense. Um, but that money will always end up going to the homeowner, and then whether they forward that on to the installer or however they decide to pay that for their system, then they would just choose to pay it that way.
What about timeline in terms of the program? I mean, you mentioned the uptake has been huge, and so many people are taking advantage, as they should, of this program, this great program. Has it got 6 months left, a year left, 2 years left, 5 years left? I don't know if you know those answers, but how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a guessing game because it's not like NRCan and the government really release when they're expecting the program to end. They don't tell us how many dollars are left in the piggy bank. Um, what we can do is we know how much money was originally allocated to the program. We know how many applications they have stated that they'll provide, in which that's 750,000. And we know right now we're up and around that 350 to 400,000 mark in all of Canada. Um, so we still are expecting the program to continue for the next, at least the next year for sure. However, when we start to get out to year and a half, 2 years, it's a little bit less sure. Just like everything these days, when we're not 100% sure when the money is going to run out. Um, Typically, what will end up happening is when the coffers do run dry, they will just end the programs, and in the next cycle, what they will do is either try to implement the new programs, add more money to the coffers, or try to find a different program. However, what I would say is that likely for at least this year and hopefully next year as well, the programs will continue without any interruption. And really, what we're seeing is that they're expanding the programs. We're really not seeing a pullback, because really what these programs are meant to do is to reach the Canada's 2030 and 2050 goals for energy efficiency, and we're certainly not there yet. So we're really hopeful all the time that they continue to fund these programs and continue to build on them rather than to take them away.
Yeah, wonderful. Any myths or any updates you want to give? I mean, you're kind of on the front lines. Is there any misconceptions out there that you kind of want to use this platform to quickly address?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've covered a lot of them here. The myths that you brought up are the majority of what we're seeing come up. But what we always try to do is to just be upfront and to cover all of these. We basically have a collection of kind of like an FAQ that you can always find on our website, getsenergy.ca. We have a handbook that walks you through each step of the process. That's available whether you're doing your energy assessment with us or not. You can just get it on our website. We're not really ones to hold back information. If you have questions, I'm always there to answer them. And really, we try to be as upfront with as much information as possible. So typically our homeowners don't. I would say that there's obviously myths out there, but we try to educate our homeowners as much as possible and just be as clear and concise throughout the process as we can, while also trying to guide them through each step of the process. So yeah, I would say that we covered most of the myths about the Greener Homes loan today.
Sounds great. Well, Daniel, thanks so much for taking the time to join in, and we'll do another update in a year, and maybe you'll be like, "There's 6 months left." Oh no.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep everyone updated on what the status of the program is as soon as we know, and really appreciate it, Chris.
Wonderful. That's Daniel Giam from Gets Energy. Thanks for joining today, Dan.
Thank you.
The Solar PV Cast by Shift with Chris Palliser. To begin your solar journey, visit shift.ca.